Welcome in to the Fun Astrology Podcast, Tuesday, March 24th. I'm feeling better. I really appreciate you guys hanging in there and sharing some love with me. I do appreciate it. It was a hard hit to lose a friend to the coronavirus this past weekend, but we're moving on, and so is the moon. We've got a new moon today in Aries. It actually was precise at 5:29 a.m. Eastern Time. The conjunction took place at 4 degrees Aries, which is kind of interesting because you look at the alignments of various aspects to this moon, and there are quite a few. So first of all, let's talk about the big one. And by big one, I'm talking about a minor aspect, but it's the one that jumps off the page to me. That's a 30-degree aspect exactly to Uranus in Taurus. So the sun and moon conjoin in Aries at 4 degrees. You move 30 degrees over to the next sign of Taurus, and there is Uranus. So that's a tense, more friction-based kind of aspect. It is minor. The ancient astrologers didn't recognize it, but I think it is something that we need to bring into the mix and watch today what happens financially, especially as these discussions are going on of how long do we need to prolong these confinements and getting the economies moving again. So watch that for sure. And then if we walk back the other way, we have the same thing with Mercury in Pisces, 30-degree semi-sextile. Walk it back another sign, and we have Saturn. Now, that one is a full-blown sextile, so at least we get some reprieve there. So I think the tension today is between the moon and the semi-sextile with Uranus and the sextile with Saturn. Now, the other one that I would throw in is, remember yesterday we talked about the moon wobble peaking yesterday at 3 degrees. Well, at 4 degrees where it is today, you still very much have squares to the nodes of the moon, from the moon, and the sun, and Chiron. And, I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but, all of this so points to the spiritual path that we are all undergoing and is obvious to so many people is shifting and changing and transforming now. And I'm so impressed with all the folks in our Facebook groups and everything that are really getting that this is about the deep soul work. I've been so buried in the news with this radio show I'm doing. I think you guys are ahead on me than that for sure. But, on my podcasts, I've always put out there, I am just a normal, regular, like you are, just on the journey and sharing my ride with you. Now, I'd like to tell you, speaking of something that we are doing to expand some things that you might be interested in. So one of the things that came to me recently was doing live podcasts. So I was thinking, how can I put that together? Basically, the medium of podcast is a pre-recorded medium. So I got to looking in CastBox, which some of you listen to this podcast through the CastBox app. It's just a free download, and you get in there, and you'll see the live stream tab right there on the home screen. When you click on that, you get all the live broadcasts that are going on at that time. Then on our Facebook pages, which is Subconscious Mind Mastery listeners, podcast listeners on Facebook, and then Majana's podcast, Life After Life Radio, we've figured out how to do simulcast to CastBox, Facebook Subconscious, and Facebook Life After Life. So if you don't want to watch the video and be on Facebook, you can catch us on CastBox. And when you find us in there, and it might be best just to catch us on a live broadcast, which I will let you know when we get the schedule worked out on this, on when we're going to be doing it. I will let you know for sure. And it will be advertised in our Facebook groups. So I would say if you're not in either mine or Majana's, come join us, and then when we do a live broadcast, it will be advertised in there. All we're wanting to do is just extend our conversation and create community and just talk through stuff that we normally would not make podcast topics out of we normally wouldn't do a podcast on, but just things that we can just talk about. Things going on in our lives, things going on in the world, how we're perceiving it, how we're processing it. And yeah, I'll bring some astrology into it. And as we go on, don't want it, to be a dragging point, because personal astrology reads are personal, but there's a way through Castbox that you can call in. So we can take some callers, and I'm looking forward to that. And eventually we might get into some astrology questions on that. So that's what we're getting set up. Right now, the infrastructure is in place. We're going to get our schedule aligned. If this is something you are interested in during these times, then you could download the Castbox app, Castbox podcast app, I guess I should say. And then also, if you're not in our Facebook groups, I would say join those, because you'll be able to get the announcements of when we're going live. And then we can just chat and talk and extend these conversations. So that's, today I think the big action is, in addition to everything else that's going on, we've got a big trigger called Mr. Moon sitting right in the middle of it. So we will see how that affects tomorrow's newspaper for sure. The main thing, having lost a friend to this, is I would just say, please take it seriously and please be careful. Wash your hands. Do all the things they're telling you to do. Cover your face. Protect yourself out there. I just read another post on Facebook from a probably 40-something-year-old friend in Aspen who was in amazing health, who got this and has been on one heck of a fight. So please take it seriously. That's somebody who is in amazing shape, like a mountain climber kind of shape. All right? It's serious. Guys, take care. I'm sending you love. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.